you're going to build boxing back up is to magnify your audience, get it as big as possible, let them see what the insiders see, how interesting these fighters are, how interesting the fights are, and you build a fan base. Otherwise, we'll be in the same shit position we've been for the last 10 years, where boxing, everybody says, is dying, it's a niche sport. That is bullshit. Boxing is a very exciting sport. It's a sport that can recapture the public interest, and that's what we're doing. You have to understand what we're trying to build here. It's not about, hey, he's going to fight on Showtime, he's going to do this. Screw that. We want to have these fights with the biggest possible audiences so that the kids who are turning pro in 4 years have a real sport that they can join, not the shit that we've had in the last 10 years.
But fighting
that I've been part of, like we all have been part of. So I'm not saying that I'm better or different from anybody else. I sucked at the same tit.
That's a great view, Bob, but would that not be a bigger compensation? The compensation, would it not be bigger for...
Compensation is shit. If you're building interest in a sport, I can put a fight on pay-per-view and charge $50, $60 and have 100,000 people watch it and make more money than putting it on free television. But what am I building? I'm building nothing.
Or 100, like Mayweather, McGregor is charging 100 per.
But not every fight is Mayweather and McGregor. Let's not talk about Mayweather and McGregor. Mayweather and McGregor is a farce. It's not a fight. It's a spectacle. Talk about a real fight, like a Golovkin and Canelo. That's a real fight. Now that fight is at a level where it's okay to cash in and put it on pay-per-view. Nobody says that's wrong. That is okay. Golovkin's paid his dues. Canelo has paid their dues. They're fighting on pay-per-view. It's a very, very good match. That's good. That's good.
Can you talk about Crawford and Ndongo, just the fact that it's a unification
Crawford
fight?
and Ndongo. That's a terrific fight. Two guys. Ndongo has 2 titles. Crawford has 2 titles. They're being matched before the biggest possible audience, which is ESPN. Millions of people who watch this on August 19th. It's great for the sport, and I'm not telling you people who are watching you, go into your pocket and go broke or spend a lot of money for that fight. You're getting it for free. Or if you don't want to stay home, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, and watch it on television. I mean, that's how you build a sport.
So that's the major key, Bob, shifting from this model of premium cable and pay-per-view and going back to still a cable network, but a network like ESPN that's mass consumed by those who watch.
Right, it's a cable network, but it has the same reach as the over-the-air network, pretty much.
So with that reach, does that come with adding female boxers since women?
Yeah, well, absolutely, because again, we've been remiss in not doing female boxing. I tried it years ago and it didn't really work out, so I'm going to try it again because I'm not a fool. I know what UFC was against it, and then they started it and they had Ronda Rousey and they did fabulously with it. Now every one of their shows pretty much has a woman woman fighting.
Bob, I gotta commend you on the first 3 cards you put up on ESPN. I gotta commend you on the first 3 cards you put up on ESPN, including this one. But I would imagine the rematch between Peck and Horn would be that much bigger on ESPN. Is that a viable option?
Well, ESPN or ABC, it's a sister network. So if ESPN decide that they would rather do it on ABC, that's fine with me also. It's the same thing.
With Pacquiao and Horn being in agreement that they will fight, is there anything you can update us in regards to that?
No, just that Manny has indicated to me that he wants the rematch. And, you know, what we're trying to figure out is a period of time where he's able to train and compete in the match. And that depends on the session of the Philippine Senate. And that's a little bit more difficult than usual because martial law has been declared in the Philippines. So they have to figure it out. But Manny is working hard with the President of the Senate and the President of the country to get a safe period where he can participate in the rematch.
And after the first one, I would imagine he wouldn't want to compete in Australia again.
Why? Why? What's wrong with Australia?
He felt there was a...
Yeah, at least you can drink the water there.
He thought there was a setup.
What the fuck? The ring is the same. Are you crazy? Why wouldn't you fight in Australia? I mean, if a guy loses a close decision, let's say, in Las Vegas, you say, I'm not going to fight in America again. That's nonsense. Australia is a civilized country. There was no Australian officials doing the fight. I mean, if Manny has a complaint, which he does, it was against the officials that were appointed to do the fight, the judges, maybe the referee. So he'll pay more attention next time when the WBO selects the officials.
His team had to see with Michaela Meyer in terms of like longevity that maybe didn't work out with Mia St. John.
Well, Mia St. John, you know, we didn't know what we were doing, and we saw that she was a hot babe. And it was my fault. We sold her as a hot babe. We got her on a centerfold in Playboy. So I mean, but I don't, you know, and she. The truth is, Michaela coming up on Olympic boxing and amateur boxing has a much better background in boxing than Mia St. John's.
You say Lomachenko is the greatest fighter since Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
What makes him great?
nobody has the skill set that kid has. In other words, they're a great defensive fighter. Now, what does that mean, a great defensive fighter? In our area, like Mayweather. They make their opponents miss. They land some punches to win rounds, and the fights generally go 12 rounds because they outbox their opponents because they're great defensive fighters. Watch Lomachenko. He's a great defensive fighter. But as he is playing defense, he is probing for weaknesses in his opponent. So for him, for the fight to be satisfying, he doesn't only have to win the fight and win the decision. He's looking to destroy his opponent and knock him out or make him quit. That's the difference. I think if Beltran wins Saturday, Beltran will be the mandatory for Garcia, and I don't know if Garcia can beat Beltran.
What did you make of Mikey Garcia versus Broner? What did you make of Mikey Garcia versus Broner if you saw it?
The truth is, Mikey Garcia is an excellent fighter. That we know. But beating Broner, that Broner, means nothing. That Broner had nothing, right? And Broner hasn't performed well in years. At one point, Broner was a hot fighter, a real great property, but you can't live the lifestyle that he has and continuing to excel. So Garcia won the fight. He won it handily, but he didn't close the show. You closed the show with Broner by knocking him out.
Mikey Garcia versus Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia is not a major attraction. He really isn't. He is not somebody that you can count on to sell tickets or bring viewers. Is he an excellent fighter? Yes, he is. So it's a nice fight. I like to see that fight. But I tell you, I probably could do better at the gate with Lomachenko against Salido than Lomachenko against Garcia. Now, maybe Garcia at this point is a bigger challenge for Lomachenko than Salido. But you know, again, somebody's got to pay for this shit. If you're gonna give the public these fights for free, somebody's got to write the check.